Hey, what's up? So I will create a couple of videos about Gulp.js. I will start by explaining why and how we use Gulp.js. So we will start from scratch and we will end up building a front-end application that uses Gulp.js to save the content, to hot reload the files, and to compile everything. So let's just start from the basics. Why we use Gulp.js. So I think the main reason it's automation. So or you can say make Gulp do the boring stuff for you. So compiling SAS or SCSS, compiling TypeScript, cleaning and uglifying JavaScript and CSS code. So in production you won't just save the JavaScript file as it is. You will make it one line and uglify it by making everything shorter, so the name of the variables will be shorter. There are some tools that do that for us. And the cleaning the files means removing all the comments or the extra white spaces. So we can actually do this with Gulp. Another thing, we can watch our files. For example, whenever you change, you see this a lot of other frameworks. So when you change a SAS file, the browser will automatically reload. So we will do this as well. I'll show you how we can set up something like that. Another thing, we can integrate some nice tools and libraries with Gulp that will enrich our development workflow. For example, browsersync, I will use that, and Babel.js to compile JavaScript. I will also use this. Another tool we can, and you will see a lot of people do that integrate with Gulp, is Webpack. They will do a lot of automations. Then at some point they will call Webpack and get the output from Webpack and do some stuff with it. I won't go and explain Webpack in this tutorial. I will do it in a separate videos, a whole series about Webpack. This one will be about Gulp and setting up a simple workflow to automate our stuff, our compiling, minifying, and all of that. We will automate all of this. And another thing, I like to think about Gulp as a composer to my workflow. So it's just basic automation. Whenever I do something over and over again, you can just say, hey, I can put this in Gulp, and that will be it. Now the next slide is how we use it. So it's just a JavaScript file running in Node.js context. That's something you need to understand. Gulp.js has access to the Node.js environment, so you can write to the file system, you can execute shell commands, anything you do in Node.js you can do it there. And basically, to use it or to start using it, you will create a file called Gulp.js file in the root of your directory, and there you will write some code that will be divided into tasks. So Gulp actually requires you to write some functions. They call them tasks, and they will execute these tasks whenever you tell Gulp to execute your JavaScript file, your Gulp file .javascript. So another thing, to make Gulp use your Gulp file, so that's what Gulp do. It will go and search for that file named Gulp.js and will use it and will just basically execute it. So to make Gulp see this file, you need to have Gulp in your local machine. You have two options. Option one, to install it globally. There is a Gulp CLI. This is fine, but I believe installing Gulp locally will be a better idea. You can modify the version easily. You can any developer can just install your application in their machine, maybe clone it, then npm install, and they will be good to go because Gulp is installed in the Node modules for that project. So they don't need to write so many commands in the command line. Just one command, everything is locally will be installed in the Node modules. That's actually the approach I will go to, because that's what most people do. So now if you install it locally, you need to create an npm script to run Gulp. So if you don't know about npm scripts, you basically go to your package.json, and there is a script properties. You can add, as you can see here, an alias, then colon, then Gulp. So this tells npm, whenever you run npm run alias, which is this name, most people call it dev or build. So npm run dev, npm run build. This will go and execute Gulp or call Gulp, and Gulp by default will look for this file and execute it. So that's what we will do. Might be confusing, but in the next video everything will be or in the next couple of videos everything will be clear. And I think when you finish this series you will be good to go with Gulp.js. You will understand it, you will know the basics, you can build your own workflow. That's it. Thank you.